This is a private member's bill. The Constitution specifies the way in which private members' bills should be brought. We do not believe that it was done in that way. So when the Supreme Court says that, this was like a precipitate action, with respect, we respect his decision, but we disagree because it says Parliament shall not proceed. So at what point shall Parliament not proceed? Clearly cannot be after they passed an act. It is when they are considering it that they cannot proceed until they have done A, B, C, D. And we did not have the evidence that those procedural steps had been undertaken.
You are a human rights activist. What do you feel, what image do you think this will paint for the country looking at this latest?
Oh, well, we still have a country which is governed by the rule of law. We went to court. The court has given its decision. They're separate arms of government. The different arms can rule differently. We can also exhaust our different remedies. But we have not seen the full judgment of the courts. It says it will be ready on Friday. So we are waiting to see what the full judgment is. And then we will determine what remedies, what steps are available to us.
Okay. We've also seen countries influencing one another across the continent with regard to this legislation. What does this send to the rest of the continent?
Well, I mean, Uganda passed a bill like this. In the first time that it passed the act was challenged. The Constitutional Court ruled against the act. It went back again. This time, they were not challenging the procedural issues. They were challenging the content of the act. Largely, the court let it stand, although it said that some of the provisions were not right. So I hope that our courts learn from each other. They take steps from each other. But we still, as a human rights defender and as somebody who believes in constitutionalism, I take what the Constitution says seriously about protecting the rights of all Ghanaians, about not discriminating against any Ghanaians, So, but mind you, this action was not about the substantive provisions. It was procedural. Yes, so we preserve our rights. When we came to court last year for an injunction, one of the things that was being urged on us by the Chief Justice was, why don't you wait? We have invalidated acts, so wait, let the act be passed. But we thought, still, because the Constitution allows us to bring an action, even at that stage, that we would do that. Now that the Supreme Court says there's nothing wrong with that, it should proceed, we still have options under the act,
Okay. But how hopeful are you? Because there are people who have suggested that, this is a country where 93% of the population have already made it clear that they don't want to have LGBTQ people as their neighbors.
So what are they going to...
Don't you reckon this is a fruitless course?
No, I don't reckon that it is a fruitless course. What you are telling us is that we must legislate intolerance into law. That is a dangerous way to go, because the next time they might say that they don't want burly men like you. And because a majoritarian rule or a democracy does not mean just the wishes of the majority. Have you seen footage of them being banished from traditional areas, of being dragged to chiefs' palaces, and of sheep and other things being cut and poured on their heads? When you banish somebody, when you say that you can no longer live here, that is not an attack. When people extort money from people, when they threaten that they will reveal your identity, that is not attack. What do you understand by attack? I think that there have been enough documented cases of attacks, even without a law in effect. And this is going to embolden all kinds of people, including criminals and hooligans, from taking the law into their own hands. If LGBT people offend the law, deal with them. But to single out a group of people because you don't like their sexual or gender identity, that is what I find abhorrent.
So what are the next steps for you and the entire...
We will wait. The president assents to the bill. What will be your next line of action?
Yeah, so we will wait for the judgment on Friday, as the court has promised. We will wait to see what the president will do. We will advise ourselves. We are not going to stop defending people because there is a law which says we cannot do that.
Are you paying a price for what you're doing? Because
personally, no, I don't think that my reputation has suffered. I do not believe that my family thinks any the less of me, that my friends think any the less of me. No.
I'm speaking in terms of probably attacks or threats to
your
security concerns.
Oh, I'm fine. Some people have made threats, but I'm not afraid. I think that as a prudent person, I should know where I would not be welcome.